How do you deal with former in-laws? Ooh, that's a great question. We'll just tell you our backstory. Stay tuned. Hey friends, so welcome back to my channel. So we're out here in the parking lot in this windy, crazy day. You probably can hear the wind as it's blowing, but we are gonna just kind of take you along with us a little bit. We have a couple of errands. I got to do some grocery shopping. I do my grocery shopping mainly on the weekend because I don't have time to do it during the week. And also I wanted you guys to, Jerral and I wanted to start talking about, we've gotten a lot of questions about blended families and just how we go about doing that. And we wanted to kind of start talking to you, and we're going to make this a two-part video because we have enough questions to make it a two-part video. So we're going to answer a few questions on here today. And this part one of the video is going to start with talking about the kids and discipline. And I think this is something that may either really bless someone's family or, you know, give you something to reference back to. We've learned a lot over the years, and it's definitely nice to hear how someone else went into a second marriage or whether it's a third marriage. But it's definitely nice to hear what someone else is doing, especially when kids were not yours or born from you. So, because there are a lot of angles to consider, and there are a lot of things to think about when you're disciplining someone else's children, or what blended family feels like and looks like, and how emotional it is for those children that are involved or about to be siblings or step siblings to one another. So the first question that we have is, how do you explain your blended relationship with the kids? Well, our boys started out being blended at a very young age. And Jerral, I think he can tell you how old the boys were once we started dating and just kind of blending them, and what that meant to us as a blended family, and that they were very young once we got married.
I know the oldest out of all four boys, he was third grade. Then we had a second grader, and then we had a kindergartner, and then we had one.
And we had a baby.
So they were able to...
We didn't have a baby, but we had a baby.
Mm-hmm.
So Jerral and I do not have any kids together. We know that we didn't want any kids. Having 4 kids is enough for anybody,
mm-hmm.
but we didn't want to have any more kids together.
So the main thing is that we had to come together on expectations. Being that they were so young, it was kind of territorial. This is my toys and this is my area. So we just had to kind of eliminate that and just let them know that this is one household, one family. No matter who is in the house with us, we're still going to love them. We're still going to raise them. We're still going to give them 100% of our love. And once they got over the initial, this is mine, they learned to share more, and it's actually grown as they've grown. So it's been, that part wasn't difficult.
It had its moments.
But it wasn't a make or break type of situation.
Right. You know, like I said before in a previous video, 2 of the boys are very identical and 2 are very identical. You know, that are very opposite from each other. So one of, you know, my son Cole and Jerral's son Aaron, which, you know, they're our sons. They're not Jerral's son, my son. We're just saying that for the video. Him and Cole are very identical. They're quirky. They're, how would you explain?
Brainiacs.
They're brainiacs. And they are very literal. And they take everything at face value. They don't really care yet about fashion and clothes, and they're very silly. They have the same personality. It's so like weird. And the other 2, Austin and Caleb, are so identical. It's so scary. They're more of our like fashion. You know, they're like their mama. they like fashion. They like just being, you know, they're cool. You know, they you know, they're just so identical. They like, you know, the same type of foods, and you know, Cole and Aaron are very identical. But Caleb and Austin, they're really close. Like, they're all close, but it's like Austin has always been super tight with Caleb the moment he could hold him, because Austin was our baby. He's our baby. So, but we're gonna move on to question number 2. And guys, we'll be answering these questions throughout our day. And the sun is actually about to set here, but like I said, we'll be answering some of these questions because I think that this video definitely will bless someone else. So we want to keep going. But the next question says, let's see, how much should be shared with the kids about the current dynamics? What do you think, babe?
I wasn't sure exactly what meant by dynamics, though.
Well,
what's your definition?
I guess about dynamics is how we've set it up, you know, secretly on our end with the, you know, with their other parents, and just the parenting styles, what we share with them about how everything should be handled. We try to include the boys in everything that we decide for them, and then some decisions are just not up to them, and you know, they have to go along with, you know, what we're doing, what we're saying, and you know, what the unit, you know, what we've decided. Meaning, this is a very unique blended family, guys, because my boys, their dad lives in Dallas, and he does not get to see the boys as often as possible. He has a relationship with the boys, but Aaron and Austin's mom stays here, you know, in Houston, and it's a very unique situation, and I don't want to sugarcoat any of this for you. This has to be something that is very at face value and very honest here. When you're trying to blend a family, it is not always the easiest thing. This is not, you know, Alicia Keys and you know, their family situation. I've seen that on YouTube and, you know, other few social media outlets. But every situation is very different. It's not, no recipe is the same. I'm just being honest. It's not. So Jerral and I have come up with our own, you know, type of recipe for this situation. And it's not been the easiest recipe, not been the easiest thing to cook or serve up for anybody. But, you know, as far as the dynamics, it's basically what it means to me. It's just that how we go about handling certain situations, meaning the discipline or what we've decided to do as the adults or as a family, or why we're going to do this way. And another dynamic to me is kind of reminds me of the rules, you know, because, you know, these boys go to two to four different houses in the course of a year, and so the rules are different at each home. And, you know, some rules are weightier than other rules, you know, so keep that in mind, that, you know, and not trying to step on any other parents' toes when it comes to the rules. So we'll keep that in mind as we keep going. But we're going to get ready to head into Hobby Lobby, because I'm going to be doing a treat with my boys. And I'll also make it into a blog post so you can see. It's a very, very fun treat. They love it because it's very hands-on. But I'll share with you as we're walking through the store. It's so funny, you can see my shadow. It's so windy. Look at my hair. Woo. Goodness.
It's crazy out there.
Yes. You notice they have all this Valentine's stuff out already. I don't buy a lot of Valentine's stuff. Hobby Lobby is a trap because there's so much good stuff here. Oh my goodness. I've used a lot of their stuff to decorate our house. So I'm gonna do a treat with the boys, and I need some lollipop sticks. So I'm making some Jolly Rancher lollipops with them, and they're super cute. Ooh, look at that. That caught my eye. That is so pretty. Ooh, that is so pretty. This is a beautiful mirror for a fireplace, if you have a fireplace. It's either that or that. I would definitely put that over an entry or a fireplace. So nice. See my BFF coming? He's always gonna be my BFF. Okay, off to our next door. Woo! It's wind. So we're headed off to HEB. I have to get a little bit of groceries before I kind of start cooking dinner. Tonight there are 4 boys at home waiting on me to get started. So we're gonna go back to the current, let's see, it says how much should be shared with the kids about the current dynamics, and Jerral kind of wanted to explain what he felt or what he thought the current dynamics with that question meant. And like I said, these questions are coming from different places and people and that want to, you know how we do certain things, because, you know, we seem to look happy and, you know, we seem to be okay, and we're happy and we're okay, but those things do not come without work, and it does not come without working together and trying to figure out what works best for your family. And like I say, one shoe don't fit all, one blouse don't fit all. You have to figure out the recipe for your family. So what do you think the current dynamics?
What I took from the question, and I wasn't 100% sure at the time, but I had to kind of process on it a little bit, is just making sure that if there's a disagreement or if one parent doesn't see eye to eye with the other parent, just making sure that they're still neutral for the kids' sake, because we don't want the kids to think that he has to choose, or he's loyal to one parent and he has to side with that parent instead of siding with the other one, or just making sure that they have favorites. We don't want the kids to think that, because once that develops, it's gonna be that way for years, and that may be something that never will recover from. So it's just really making sure that the adults stay adults and the kids, we just let them stay kids and don't feel like they have to grow up faster than they normally would just because it's a blended family, or because they have to go over to more than one household or something like that. So that's something that we both seen parents, and we know situations where that has been a challenge or an obstacle, or the kid had to choose one way or another, and it kind of just took away from the whole experience. And that's just something that we really just didn't want to do. We want them to stay kids. We want them to grow up and understand what the real world is like, but on the same token, we want them to not worry about things that they can't control.
And know this though, the older your kids get, especially with Jerral and I having teens now, is they have their own questions, and they are going to ask questions about the other parent, and they're going to ask those leading questions about whether or not, you know, and each household is different. Guys, we've been asked questions that even were very hard for us to go to the carpet with, you know, because it is very different in one household versus the other household. One household may think something is in stone when the other household may be a little bit more relaxed on it, and that goes into the difference of households. And you know, we just know that the older our boys got, the more questions they had about the blended family and the difference of the rules, and you know what they were experiencing in this household versus the other household. And guys, they go on treatment, you know, how they feel like they're treated, or just those things have value the older they get, and they ask more of those deep questions that sometimes you're ready for and sometimes you're not. So, you know, but it's important to Jerral and I that we're honest with the kids, and that we give them the real, because they have to know, you know, the real. The older they get, we don't share as much real with the younger two now, But we do share the real with the older two because they're growing up fast, you know, and they'll be released into the world very soon on their own. So, you know, we just want them to know what's reality. So we'll keep on going, but we're headed into H-E-B to do a little grocery shopping. So the next question that's coming up is, let's see, because they sent me a list. How do you deal with former in-laws? Ooh, that's a great question. But it's not, let me be honest, it's not easy. But we'll just tell you our backstory. Stay tuned. Y'all, it's windy. Look at my hair. It's windy. Seriously. Okay, so I'm not getting any I'm not getting any strawberries right now, but I'm gonna get frozen strawberries for my smoothies because the fresh ones are kind of not lasting on me. Oh my God, I'm out of breath because we were running in the store. It's like the wind is like 3,000 miles per hour. So I'm in my favorite place. I love veggies. Okay, friends, so since the last time we said goodbye, when we said the former in-laws question, so it's been a little bit of entertainment here tonight at our house because while we were in the grocery store, the power went out. And so the boys were home by themselves, and oh man, they're hilarious. Like,
Stories.
I mean, the oldest, when you think you can depend on him, he's panicking. So that'll be for another video, but that dude there is funny. So the last question that we're going to answer is, how do you deal with former in-laws? I'll let my husband go on his little spiel, and then I'll add to what he's going to say.
I think you still have to respect them because they still do play a major role in the kids' lives. They're their grandparents, so to speak. So it's really one of those relationships that they look forward to and they actually they cherish, because grandparents, you learn a lot from them. I still talk about my grandparents, and they passed years ago. So we still respect them. Whenever they want to see the boys, we say we definitely will let them see them. We invite them to functions and things like that, like concerts, band concerts, activities, games, different things like that. So they're still a major force in their lives, but they still respect our boundaries and the things that we're trying to do also. So it's just one of those mutual respect type things, and it's just, you have to set the groundwork. We won't impede on your relationship, and they shouldn't impede on what we're trying to build over here also. So it actually has worked very well, but we have some in-laws that are respectful and mindful that we are the parents, and they just don't try to have their way. They're willing to work with us, and it's just a good partnership, so to speak.
So I agree with that because once again, you guys, I'm going to tell you that all of those things take work. So those partnerships, they didn't come together the easiest ways. And, I don't want you to think that once Jerral and I got married, that it was just a cakewalk or it was very easy for us, because it wasn't. And because divorces took place, and there were a lot of hurt or upset people, bothered, or people thinking, that they weren't going to get a chance to be grandparents, or that they weren't going to get a chance to be in the boys' lives because it was a different parent now in the picture, or a different person that was going to be there to love them. So now it's so much better because, like Jerral said, they respect the boundaries and they respect what we're doing as parents. And that's big because you have to respect what we're doing and just how we go about parenting. And nobody interferes, you know, when we're getting on to the boys or if we have to discipline anybody. And guys, we'll get on discipline in part 2 video because that needs to be talked about, because believe me, there were roads that we crossed with discipline. But like I said, that's part 2. But as far as, you know, in-laws, it has come to, we've crossed many bridges, guys, and not easy bridges. And so keep in mind that, you know, you have an end goal in mind. And the end goal is that you all get along, because you can't change that these people are going to be a part of their life. They're blood related. And so the boys, it's a very, very unique dynamic situation because, and I'll give you a little brief synopsis. Jerral's 2 boys, Aaron and Austin, don't have any living grandfathers. So Caleb and Cole still have living grandfathers. So it was important to me that my dad step in and be their grandfather for them. And I just think that boys should know, you know, what it's like to have grandpas and that grandpa love. And it's so sweet, because even my boys' paternal grandfather, their biological dad's dad, who lives in Houston, he is very sweet to Aaron and Austin as well. And they respect Jerral and I. They respect our union, and they're very sweet with Jerral, very sweet. And I've not seen otherwise. So just keep in mind that when you're in a blended family, you have an end goal. And the end goal is that you want your kids to be happy. And you don't want them to see arguing adults. But like I said, all of these things didn't come about until there was work put in to make them come about. And just to let you know, me and Jerral have been married for a decade, and it took some years, not months, but it took a few years to get to a very quiet place. So, keep God in the middle, pray a lot, keep your kids involved and pray with them. And I think at the end of that day, things will work out like they should work. So we're going to be bringing this video to an end. We definitely are really, really, happy that we were able to just come and share some things with you and just be with you and kind of share our story. But part 2 to this video will be coming on next Sunday. So no makeup tonight. But you guys, if you did not get a chance to catch my video from Friday, where I was introducing my new series on there, where it was 3 of my top drugstore favorites, then go back and catch that, because I'm introducing 3 things to you that I feel as though were worth looking at in the drugstore. Pretty excited about this Friday's video because I'm trying some new makeup, and from a brand that I've kind of heard buzzed around YouTube a little bit. So I'm trying their makeup, and I'm gonna share that with you on Friday. My next 3 favorites from the drugstore, and pretty excited about that. So don't forget, hit that bell button down at the bottom, and so you know when a new video is gonna pop up. If you have not subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button to be a part of this Williams Party of 6 family. And let's see, did I forget anything? Oh, shopvault28.com. Don't forget that. And we're clearancing out a lot of stuff, so the summer and spring line is getting ready to launch soon. I've been looking at some things, but until my next video, talk to you guys again soon. Bye.